Hello, investors. This is Ted Zhang, Associate Portfolio Manager with Revere Asset Management. Today is Wednesday, December 11th, 5:18 p.m., coming to you from Fort Lauderdale with tonight's Revere Roundup Daily Market Insight video. State of the market, we're still in an uptrend. Heading over to the GROTECTION gauge, we still have the four coveted green arrows, but under market leaders, we do have that neutral yellow arrow pointing towards neutral just because over the past few days, we've seen some leading groups and leading stocks take a hit, pull back, and see some quote unquote abnormal action with more volatility, some reversals, some pivot failures, and leakages. But we still have leadership groups, which is why we're keeping that green. Short term, all the indexes except RSP are above the 21 EMA, which is why we have that sub yellow arrow. All indexes above the 50-day and all indexes above the 200-day. What happened today? Mega cap tech and BTC or Bitcoin lead the way. Nasdaq new all-time highs. 21 over 21 up 2.75%. That marks a really strong rebound in leaders. 20 up and only one down. Big 8 up 2.8% once again. Mega cap tech was leading the way. RGA up 1.07. S&P up 0.82. RSP up 0.09, Qs up 1.79, QQEW up 0.87, Dow Jones oddly down 0.22%, mid caps up 0.64%, small caps up 0.48%, global 60/40 equity bonds up 0.39%, and GROTECTION up 1.73%. So jumping right into it as always. Going to go into MarketSmith and look at the S&P 500. We had this couple days pullback. We had this one distribution day 2 days ago, and then we broke the 8 EMA and closed below, but still held, as you can see, it closed at 60.34. And that still held that 60.17 previous resistance and still above 6,000. So price structure held well. And today off CPI, which came in line, we gapped up and pretty much trended all day. So strong action there. RSP, this is a little bit more ominous. This just shows mega caps are taking the baton and the other weighted, the lesser market cap stocks in the S&P 500 are relatively weaker. You can see it, many lower lows in a row, breaking the 8 and 21, which is why we do have that caution short term. For RSP. Qs, because of mega caps, new all-time high on elevated volume, accumulation day. It's great action here. As we've talked about these levels many times, this 500, 503 level was a really clean and simple flat level. Broke out, retested it, meandered around it, reclaimed it, and now we broke out again. Equal weighted, much stronger than RSP because of tech. But definitely still weaker than Qs. No, not a new all-time high yet, but still reclaimed the 8 EMA, so that looks great. Dow Jones was actually red. This continues to have one lower low, two lower low, three lower low, four lower lows, and five lower lows. So, and you can see some distribution days coming in here. I see 4 of those within literally the last 2.5 weeks. So the Dow Jones is definitely showing some weakness here, especially closing below the 21 EMA today. Mid caps, how do you support the 21 EMA? And this flag still looks pretty good. We just need some sort of catalyst for mid caps. Russell as well, similar thing, developing a bull flag, finding support at 21 EMA, but still rejecting 2,400. VIX is nice to see. As I've been talking about in previous videos, we are sitting between the 10 to 14 range. This is really presenting us a nice lower volatility uptrend and a lot of strong action in stocks. The dollar breaks this bull flag, starting to rise again as rates are ticking back up too. We have this weekly big level right there, the weekly bull flag too. And so far, a stronger dollar has not put pressure on equities. So we'll continue to monitor that correlation. Gold strong as well, reclaimed all key moving averages, broke this downtrend line, and continues higher on huge volume. Weekly looks amazing. Found support the 20-week, reclaimed the 10-week, And it looks like we're gonna go and test previous all-time highs. Gold miners relatively weak into the declining 50-day, so this should act as some resistance. But if we do break through, 40 will be next, this level right here. Then perhaps we can go test those previous highs as well. Silver strong as well, reclaiming all cumulative averages, but still finding some resistance around this 29.56 level. As you can see, many wicks against that level. But taking that out, and we'll likely retest those 31.8 previous highs. I bet we own this, of course, just great action, but I'm going to go to a Bitcoin chart, which includes the bigger picture and more complete picture because it includes weekends and 24/7 trading. Just amazing action. The first attempt at 100K saw great volatility. A lot of leverage longs got liquidated, and then late short chasers were 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 stopped out as well. And that day pretty much closed midday. We trickled higher, reclaimed 100K, and closed above 100K for the first time on December 8th, Sunday. The following day, we had some fear from Google's quantum computing chip come out, and that led to a shakeout. The next day, shook out again with continued support and bidders around 94,000. Today, we had a really strong 5% up move, reclaiming the 20, 10, 5, and 100K and the downtrend line. So that's five key levels cleared out, and this looks like 110K, 115K is not out of the question. If we go on a 65-minute chart, you can see that better. And then go on a weekly chart, you can see if we clear out those 104,000 levels, there's definitely room to the upside, at least the 110, 115K. Maybe we overshoot a little bit. When we start getting some huge daily candles, that'd be a time to start looking to sell some in the strength as you had the first initial move, consolidation. Now you get another push. Oftentimes markets move in three waves. So if you do want to be a little bit more greedy, you potentially could hold through another period of consolidation. But often those become more volatile, leads to more shakeouts, and trimming a little bit in strength is definitely helpful in holding for the longer move. I want to quickly go over the last part of our inter-asset correlation, which is bonds, and then I'll go over Ethereum and Solana. So, off inline CPI, which came in all in line, consumer prices rose 0.3% versus estimated 0.3% in November. The core rose 0.3% month over month versus an estimated 0.3%. And year over year, 2.7% versus estimated 2.7%. And then November core CPI year over year, 3.3% versus 3.3%. The markets really like that. Of course, you can see by the reaction. Yields backed off, paving a way for another Fed rate cut. At least the short end backed off. The long end actually rose. And that the reason being is because the Fed is looking to cut, that could actually lead to stronger growth, potentially reignition of inflation, and that's probably why the 10-year is pricing that in. Same with the 30-year as well. So now on to Ethereum. On that quantum computing scare, we sold off the 3,500, pretty much found support literally there. Reclaimed the 20-day moving average, reclaimed the 10 today. Still find a little bit of resistance at the 5. I do really like this handle that's still building, but if you measure this, that's a 15% range. The ADR is 6%, so that's still a bit volatile. I want to see this continue building on the right side, put in some symmetry like we had in this Bitcoin base. As you can see, super symmetrical base, or the Solana base, super symmetrical base. And then we can take on 4,100, which would be the fat pitch level for me. You can use BITU or sorry, not BITU, ETHA, which is the 1x, and ETHU, which is the 2x, to play that in equities. Solana, we also broke out of this huge base out of 210, a little bit extended, so we hit all-time highs and we pulled back, retested 210, and held so far at the 50-day and 10-week, and this continues to look great. So I'll bring up the tail of the tape now. The VIX drops 4% to 13.63. Fear and greed up 2, still stays in neutral at 52. Of course, we're still operating the bull case above the 21 EMA, Nasdaq new all-time highs. New CPI came in line, and we have PPI tomorrow. Just remember, we also have FOMC next Wednesday. Today's keys, we're watching S&P versus 6,000, the 2017 range, Qs versus 516. Because of the CPI, we pretty much didn't even test those areas and we gapped up. And then the growth stocks acted well today. As you can see by our 21 over 21 list with 20 stocks up and up over 2.7%. Day count down to up 1 day above the 8 EMA now, 17 days above the 21. Expectations, of course, positive. Strong sectors, uh, bond, bond prices are pretty much neutral, same with bond yields. Mega caps are extraordinarily strong with, as you can see, FNGS here up 3%, my Mag 7 ETF or composite in TradingView up 2.7%. Bitcoin, as you know, up 5% today. Crypto stays strong. Gold and silver strong as well, up 1.4% and 70 basis points. Oil strong too, and semis. On the downside, dollar was actually up, so this should be green. China was down, and then bios were down. All we did today was add back some SSO, brought our beta up to 1.87, open heat of 8.14%. That means if all our stops were to get hit tomorrow, our accounts would be down 8%. Bottom line, mega cap tech and Bitcoin lead the way, and Nasdaq new all-time highs. So in this next segment, I wanted to go over what I talked about before when I was talking about FNGU or FNGS. Like right here, actually, I was narrating that, noting it as a really great setup. And so far, we've broken out. FNGU would have caught 20%. FNGS, you're catching about 10%. We talked about Bitcoin as well, so I'm going to skip that. But let's talk about the 10 components in there. Tesla, I mean, this is the number one liquid leader in the market now. Let's just narrate this entire sequence of the move real quick. You gapped up on earnings. The market clearly liked what Elon and Tesla had to say with margins expanding, full self-drive, capabilities increasing, robotaxi coming to fruition, humanoids are definitely being built and potentially commercialized in the next couple of years and actually used in the factories to continue to expand margins, increase productivity and efficiency. And after that, we had a U-turn after rejecting 265 and this 270 level into the election, started hooking up the day before the election. That could have been a buy, but it was a little bit risky. And who knew the election would have caused such a big gap up for Tesla? But on the Donald Trump win, we gapped up, 4-day momentum burst, pulled back, found support at the rising 8 EMA, undercut here, then reclaimed the next day, build another little tight pivot, and now we've blasted off 5 days in a row into all-time highs, actually. We had all-time highs of 414.5, and today we closed at 424.88. And as you can see, volume has been gradually expanding every single day, which is a great sign as well. Google, off their new quantum computing chip Willow, gapped up yesterday and followed through today to the all-time highs. This is extraordinary action. Relative strength line breaking this downtrend line, and huge volume coming in. Apple continues to float into all-time highs, made a new all-time high, but reversed so far. Completely normal action, still trending above the 8 EMA. Amazon, new all-time high today. Meta, also new all-time high out of this flat base. Microsoft found support at all these key moving averages. They're starting to expand now. 468 is up next, and I would bet that this makes a new all-time high as well. Netflix, another new all-time high. Now another new all-time high. Avgo, super close to new all-time high. Earnings tomorrow after the close. Huge volume today as well, up 6.63%. And then finally, CrowdStrike, building a handle here in this huge base. And this looks great too. So all the components of FNGS, all-time highs or near all-time highs, which is why this ETF is making a new all-time high. Now, as always, going over the 21 over 21 list, we had 20 names up. So I'll go over the down name. RBKB, that shouldn't be in there actually. Let me double check on that because that is not a stock. I must have input the wrong ticker. Give me a second. Let's just drop that for now. We'll talk about Reddit. Just beautiful trend after the earnings gap above 100 out of this IPO base. Quick pullback, flag break, then formed another flag break, then shook out off the offering, then formed another flag, which is another potential add point. And now we've seen a little bit of exhaustion up here. That's completely normal to get some profit taking, as that's literally a 70% plus move if you got near this 100 area. Carvana up 6.1%, reclaims the 8 and 21 EMA, 99 relative strength, looks really strong. Tesla already talked about it, new all-time highs. Bitcoin back above 100K, this ETF back above that 5686 level, looks really strong. Broke this downtrend line too. If you go into the 60-minute, and new all-time highs looks imminent as well for this. CRDO, which we own, EP continuation move, gap up, pull back to the EMA, found support, and looks like it wants to U-turn now. Twilio, just perfect post-earnings gap action, trending along the 8 EMA. ALAB, also really great action, post-earnings gap above this level, pulled back, retested it, U-turned, and just really nice action for ALAB as well. VRT. This one saw a little bit of exhaustion after this breakout. Still finding support at this 50-day and these prior lows. We are building this little falling wedge here. Go on the 60-minute, you can see that. So maybe we meander around in this range between 120 and 130. We take out that downtrend line to the upside. Team, also another perfect post-earnings gap reaction, just trending perfectly above the 8 EMA. Palantir, seen a bit of exhaustion as well. Undercut, reclaim the 8 EMA. I would think this needs a longer base, especially after the move it's made from 22 to 80 within about a quarter and a half, 4 or 5 month move. And I think I'll wrap it right there. As always, let me just pull this down. As always, we'd love to hear from you. My email is ted@revereasset.com. My Twitter is Ted H. Zhang. Our phone is 855-REAL-WEALTH. That is 855-732-5932. Our website is revereasset.com, and our YouTube is Revere Asset. If you're interested in becoming a client, please reach out. And with that said, I'll wrap it up for today, Wednesday, December 11th. This is Ted Zhang with Revere Asset Management, telling it just like it is. Thanks for listening, and have a great rest of your week.